Good morning, everyone. Satsangat here. Today, I will talk about the upcoming lunar eclipse in Capricorn. And I know I have already made a video regarding the 3 summer eclipses this year. And it's a more than 2-hour long video that is available by donation. It has all the details. All the details. But today I wanted to come back and review and give you some essentials, but at the same time, explain how it may affect you directly, how this eclipse will according to the house where it will fall in your zodiac chart. Then I will explain that in detail. So I hope you enjoy. I will share my screen to show you the a PowerPoint presentation that I have prepared for you. So here it is. We are about to have another eclipse, this time July 4th or 5th, according to the place where you live in the world, because it's overnight. This lunar eclipse might be seen at night if it's not cloudy. So it is overnight, in the middle of, let's say, between some places maybe 11 p.m. and maybe 5 a.m., depending on where you live. You can find that in timeanddate.com. It's a great website where you can find your time in the world. Okay, so I am Satsangat Astrology. You can follow me in Instagram at Satsangat. MeWe also. I know MeWe has a subscription, but you don't need to subscribe in order to follow me. In fact, I have a free account. You can also follow me in Tumblr. I have a blog that I really love. I really love to write, and it's very popular. So you may want to follow me on my blog. I have a YouTube astrology channel and a YouTube yoga channel. And I have been in Facebook for a long time. However, I am moving out of Facebook, as many people are. And I favor Tumblr, MeWe. I'll be daily on those. And I write my blog every couple of weeks, or sometimes it depends on the theme that is coming up. I write every week sometimes. I have a series on the Pluto-Saturn conjunction that happened this year in January. You may want to read all of the articles in it. And I have also a series on Chiron in Aries. And I show for every rising sign how Chiron transiting Aries affects you. So I hope you enjoy reading and watching me. I am today to talk about the solar eclipse on 13 degrees 38 minutes of Capricorn, and it's an eclipse on the south node. So I wanted to explain, because this is sometimes confusing and it's not stated by all astrologers, but this is a very important point for the eclipses. The eclipses always happen together with the nodes of the moon. However, it is a different eclipse if it happens on the south node compared to the north node eclipse. The south node eclipse will be kind of an outlet to release old energy and outdrawing force. So it is compared to Saturn and Neptune dynamic or energies, meaning that it gives restrictions or dissolution of energies or things in your life, some difficulties. It could be lack of vitality. And as I said, Saturn also implies time, meaning that the effect of this eclipse may not happen right now at this moment, but it could be a development during the next 6 months or so. Obviously, the stronger effect is on the day of the eclipse, but it also, as you will see, it depends on the fact that it can trigger one of your natal planets by opposition, by square, or conjunction, and that will be the more powerful effect. In fact, it is conjuncting my Saturn, my natal Saturn. And so it depends. I will talk about the houses that will in your zodiac sign, and I will also, excuse me, talk about the planets that may be affected. So hang on there, because you will get a lot of useful information for this. Anyways, it has on the south node, the eclipse has this Neptunian energy of confusion and also of dissolution of something, something that you are letting go. So sometimes it could be perceived as negative or detrimental, or a loss of something, the end of a cycle, right? Neptunian energy, or a preparation for a new phase, because usually we need to make room for the new things to come in. So that's why we need to end the cycle in order to start something new. So it demands to release something, or detach from something, or surrender something in your life. It may cause an identity crisis as one lets go of part of the ego, part of your life. So a lunar eclipse on the south node demands to let go of an old emotional habit pattern, people and things. And by the way, I wanted to point out that this has been a series of eclipses in the axis of Cancer and Capricorn. And the series of eclipses have been focusing on those themes of Cancer, home, family, safety, emotional foundation, opposite to the public life, the professional life, the institutional organizations, and any kind of structures in society that are crumbling down thanks to Pluto, and rebuilding thanks to Saturn, right? Okay, another thing that I wanted to point out about eclipses in general is that eclipses is kind of the conjunction of the sun, the moon, and the nodes of the moon. And for this particular lunar eclipse, the moon is eclipsed. You will see, if it is not cloudy, you can see the eclipse moon will be kind of reddish, because it is reflecting the light of the earth, right? Through the light of course, is the sun, right? Covering the moon. So it will be eclipsed because it will the shadow of the earth will be cast over the moon. It is a way of hiding the emotional, the psychic, automatic way of reacting in life, which is associated with the moon, by the consciousness. So this means that the sun is now stronger, in the sense that the sun will be our consciousness, and something will come into our awareness in order for us to recognize it and let it go. So something about our emotional life, our internal life, and our psyche will be brought to light for us to realize it and let it go. It may have already happened, because eclipses are processes, and actually the eclipses work by the season. There is a window, right, that is started with the new moon in Gemini, which was not an eclipse but was the beginning of the cycle, and it will end with the new moon in Cancer in end of July. So that window will be a whole process that we have been experiencing. And again, it is a longer cycle because, as I said, the eclipses have happened for about 2 years in the axis of Cancer and Capricorn. And these two last eclipses, June 21st in Cancer and July 5th, 4th or 5th in Capricorn, are the last eclipses in the axis Cancer Capricorn for 18 and a half years. So it's not until 2038 that we will have this axis Cancer North Node, Capricorn South Node. Although in 9 years, in 2029, we will have the opposite axis, where the North Node will be in Capricorn and the South Node in Cancer. So these are cycles over cycles that we need to consider, because whatever is culminating with this lunar eclipse in Capricorn, it is the result of the 2-year process since 2018, right? When the eclipses started in this axis. So you might have been experiencing a process in that axis. It doesn't mean that this is a punctual event. It may be a punctual event, but it may also be the closing of that cycle. As I said, we are letting go of something in order to start a new cycle. I hope that's clear. Anyways, this lunar eclipse has, let me move this, okay. So has very interesting aspects. First of all, it is conjunct, the sun is conjunct Vesta here. This symbol that you see here is Vesta. And Vesta was where the virgins in the Roman and Greek temples that took care of the hearth The hearth was the fire of the center, at the center of the temple, meaning the spirit, right? The spirit. And it's very significant because we are now giving so much importance to our the center of our homes, the value of our families and family links, right? Our inheritance, family inheritance, and our family values, and everything that is related to our genealogy, for example. So Vesta is the root word for invest. So we are really invested in home and family and safety. So that is the sun conjuncting Vesta. That's the importance of it. The sun also, it is exactly, but to the minute, conjunct Sirius, and at 13 degrees 38. I mean, there is another fixed star called Vega, which is close to, no, Vega is close to Estella. But Sirius is at 1338 Cancer. Okay, I will talk about Vega and Estella later. Sorry about that glitch. It's Mercury retrograde after all, and my chart is ruled by Mercury. So excuse me if I make some glitches here and there. Hopefully I can correct them immediately. Anyways, so the sun will be conjunct the fixed star Sirius, and Sirius is a very spiritual, very energetic, very energetic. Let me see. Star, and I will read for you from astrologyking.com. He has a series on all the fixed stars. So it says that Sirius has the nature of Jupiter and Mars, with high ambition, pride, love of power, grandeur of view. It gives honor, renown, wealth, ardor, faithfulness, devotion, passion, and resentment, and makes the natives guardians and custodians and curators. It also gives danger of dog bites. It is in the constellation of the dog, after all, Canis, right? Let's see. It is a very spiritual star. It is well connected. If it is well connected, I mean, with no hard aspects, it promises fame, honors, and riches. However, if it is afflicted with hard aspects, like in this case, which is a square to Mars, opposites to an eclipse, you know, so it could give really problematic consequences. But however, it is a very giver of creative talents in a certain field. It is, the ancients always associated it with great heat. Obviously, it's in the middle of the summer, near the longest day in the northern hemisphere, the shortest in the southern hemisphere. the hottest part of the year we still call the dog days, though it says Virgil, for example, the writer Virgil says that Sirius comes with pestilential heat, infects the sky. It's the middle of the summer, that's why. Homer is quoted to have said that Sirius, whose burning breath taints the red air with fevers and plagues and death. So it's not only beneficial, very spiritual star, but it is also let me find it is also it marks also problems. So it's not always giving good things, right? So that's what I wanted to say about Sirius. Okay, the moon 1338 is also conjunct exactly Stella. And Stella is another fixed star with, let me see if I can. I will read about Stella in the same website, astrologyking.com. And Acela is exactly at 13 degrees 38 minutes. It's exact. And I was saying that there is another very bright or brighter fixed star in the sky, but it's at 15 degrees. So this one, Acela, is exact on the moon of the eclipse. And it says that it has the nature of Jupiter and Mercury, a religious mind, thoughtful, philosophical, writer on religious topics or similar subjects, and it gives good fortune and happiness. So one interesting sentence that Astrology King states in this website, it says, a Acela star rules below the right knee in the human body. So I thought that related very much to the right now, to the themes that we are that we have in the public, right? So let me see if I am sharing the correct frame. Okay, now, okay, let's go back to the PowerPoint. So it also, the eclipse, as you see the red lines here, the eclipse is T-squaring Chiron and Mars by sign, not exactly on the degree, but this is important because every eclipse this summer has been in square to Mars by a few degrees, but still. So Martian energy is very important in this eclipse. Right now in Aries, Mars is very powerful, and associated with Chiron is the wounded warrior. So it might bring up wounds, pains, and in regards to this eclipse, it may bring up some aggressive events. Unfortunately, it could be either aggressive, outward aggressiveness, violence, or it could be suffering, receiving violence because of the presence of Chiron with it. And Chiron and Mars are also squaring Mercury, which is some cry, some probably aggressive declaration, news of some violence. So it's not an easy eclipse. It also, the moon is also together in the sign with Jupiter, Pluto, and Saturn now. The three of them are retrograde and are reviewing or the restructuring in the governmental institutions and societal structures with Pallas Athena. And I wanted to tell you something more about Pallas Athena, because she is the goddess warrior. She was born from the head of Jupiter. And she is actually conjuncted here exactly by 10 minutes exactly with her father Jupiter. So they are in alliance and to fight for justice and for fairness, and also it may be related to some powerful Pluto religious ideas or ideologies. But Pallas Athena has the power to underline structures in forms. So it provides healing structures to the body, and the energy creates precise molds in structural patterns. So it has the ability to be in the right place at the right time. It defends law and order. It has a strong authority. So it is an excellent planner and organizer. So together with Jupiter, Pluto, and Saturn, Pallas Athena is showing us more structures, more restrictions, probably more societal and institutional structures that are aimed to restrain, limit, constrain. In Capricorn, I mean, it's very ambitious energy, very powerful energy. Another thing is Mars is squaring the December 26, 2019 eclipse in Capricorn, and that was a solar eclipse. Yeah, that was a solar eclipse, a seed starting something new. And as you have seen, since December, the new thing that started was not very welcomed by people everywhere in the world. We are all affected by this plague. So it's been a challenging time, and now Mars with his impulse, his initiative, and the pain that Chiron represents, it's showing I guess the results, but also it's kind of Mars is giving us this impulse to fight. to fight and maybe find some healing, right? Chiron is associated with healing, so it might talk about the healing of our identity, our independence, or the healing of our initiative also in Aries, the sign of Aries. So I talk very extensively about this eclipse in my almost 3-hour webinar on the summer eclipses, and I encourage you to send a donation, and that way I will send you the access link to that video. So these videos, believe it or not, take a long time of research and study and putting things together. So I hope you value the work that I've done. It doesn't matter how much you donate, but it's a good exchange of energy. It's not so good to receive everything for free, you know, especially when there is so much work implied. So I will talk about how this eclipse will influence your rising sign by house. So according to where Capricorn is in your zodiac. So, but in general terms, it is a complete overhaul since Pluto entered at the end of 2018. So this eclipse will be the end of the eclipse cycle. A complete restructure and maturation since Saturn entered Capricorn in December 2017. Also change of beliefs about the Capricorn structures since Jupiter entered in 2019. So since then, people have seen the society structures and political structures, economical structures in the whole world crumble down, and we changed beliefs of how we consider or how we believe our ideologies. Many people have changed ideologies. I mean, it was very symbolic. The fire on the Notre Dame de Paris, how that represented crumbling down of the religious ideology that it represents. It also, the protests brought down the statues of iconic people in the past representing ideologies, you know, like Columbus as a discoverer of America, and also representing Christianity, you know, imposed on the Indian peoples, and so on and so forth. We have seen really deconstruction of belief systems all over the world. And then evolutionary jumps on consciousness with the eclipses in Cancer Capricorn since November 2018 to May 2020. I also wanted to mention that eclipses have happened in around 1340, 14 degrees of Capricorn in July 1963, July 1982, and also in July 2001, and in January 2011. So, as you can see, some themes are repeated. If you remember, and you were alive in 1963, you remember President Kennedy's assassination, in 82, I don't remember exactly, but it was the time when the AIDS epidemic, and then, well, 2001, in September, it was the Two Towers attack. And then 2011, don't remember, but anyways, go back in your life and take a look at those years, if you were alive then, and see what happens. It doesn't need to be the same exactly, but it could relate by theme. It could also show you how your life has been evolving like in a spiral way, right? Cycles in astrology are not really circular, but they are spiral kind of. In any case, with all this energy, powerful energy that hasn't happened in Capricorn for 500 years, we were set up for a transmutation, right? You see the caterpillar becoming a butterfly, or the phoenix coming from the ashes. It's a powerful transformation that everyone has been through. And I mean, you can see in the world, mundane astrology shows how everybody is, every country has gone through some powerful transformation. So this is the map. Let's see the sun and the moon falling on the ascendant, or the rising sign, and it crosses over here northwest Mexico, in the center of the United States of America, center of part of Canada. And then it goes back here, the sun, the sun and the moon on the ascendant go, these orange and blue lines go through the middle of the Arabic Peninsula and through the Middle East, Turkey, and then the Eastern European countries here. It goes also to the southern part of the Scandinavia. So those places may be more affected by this eclipse than other places. Okay, so that's the map of the eclipse. So the meaning of the 14th degree of Capricorn, according to the mandala by Dane Rudier, it says, what is needed is a penetrating and courageous insight founded upon a valid historical perspective. This applies to the past of an individual's life, as well as to the history of a nation or a group. So historical perspective. I explained how this powerful energy in Capricorn, it was the last time 500 years ago. So we need to take a look back at what happened then. And I have in my blog, I have a popular article about that eclipse or conjunction of Saturn and Pluto in Capricorn 500 years ago and what happened then. So the meaning of 14 degrees of Cancer, again by Dane Rudier, by consistently and for a long time meditating on the changeless and spiritual reality at the very core of all experiences, one can attain the supreme and age-old wisdom. We see in the symbol way beyond appearances and toward permanence in truth. So this is for the Cancer, right, where the sun is. So so now we will continue to the houses. We'll go through the houses in pairs. I will start with Aries and Libra. So for Aries, dear Aries, the babies of the zodiac. So Mars is in Aries now, so you will feel more energetic. You will have the initiative and the energy to start new, something about yourself, because it's your first house, right? So about your body, you will feel more energetic and you will have more energy to do things. And probably your health will get a boost of energy also. So what happens with Mars in the first house, usually we develop good muscles. So it's good time to, if you are not exercising, which I doubt because Aries is a sportive person always, but you can start a new fitness program and have good muscles. So it is a good time for that. And the lunar eclipse is happening in your 10th house, which is asking you to leave behind something related to your professional life or in your career. It might simply mean that you are, for example, that something is changing in your professional life. It may be because the sun, let's see, no, the moon is there. It may be that a woman in your the company where you work is leaving, for example, or something that has been changing for a long time, 2 years, you know, is now coming to a completion and is leaving for good. So on the other side, in Cancer, because the nodes are in Cancer, Capricorn, you have been focusing more on your home life to the point that you might be working at home at the present time. So your family has taken precedence over your public life. Your private, your emotional foundation is more important now. And it's been for a couple of years. So with Pluto in Capricorn, let's see. With Pluto in Capricorn, your career and your professional life has been transforming. And it's a completely new kind of thing that you're doing in your career. And with Saturn, Saturn has brought to your professional public life a new structure. And it could also be that you have changed your public civil status, for example, getting married and now becoming some other social role, right? You have a new social role of some kind. For Libra, dear Libras, the relationship sign of the zodiac. So your Mars is now in the 7th house for you, which means that your partner may be more active now, or your partnership may have more energy now, and you may do more activities with other people, not only with your partner, but with other people. So it could be also aggression coming from someone else. And so be careful about that. And the lunar eclipse in Capricorn happens in your 4th house, meaning that after those 2 years or more of transformation in your family, you are now closing the cycle and finishing and letting go of something in your family life or with family members, or maybe you're moving, right? You're moving homes and you're going somewhere else to live. So it could also be that you leave the present home and you're going somewhere else to live. So the nodal axis in Cancer Capricorn has fallen in your 10th and 4th house, with the Capricorn in your 4th house. So the focus has been your let me see. Your focus has been your home and family, right? Because the eclipse has been in the 4th house, but the nodal axis in Cancer called you to focus on your public status, right? The public life and who you are in the world. That was more important for the North Node in Cancer, right? And maybe you got married, or maybe you're if you are a professional, for example, maybe you changed your status on your career and you became a CEO or something like that, or took a position of responsibility in your career. So Pluto and Saturn have been at the same time, Pluto demolishing and transmuting things, and Saturn bringing new structures of to your 4th house, home and family. So your family has gone through an overhaul, a complete reconstruction, right? So now let's talk about Taurus and Scorpio. For Taurus, Mars falls in your 12th house. So your focus of more activity could be while you are dreaming, while you are sleeping. So you may have more active dreams. You may have nightmares, for example, and you may experience very restless sleep, maybe insomnia or something, because Mars gives you activity. So maybe you, instead of going to sleep, you work at night, right? Because something had changed, and maybe you have to work in a hospital now, 12 houses, hospital, prisons, places of reclusion or retreat. Maybe you now find the energy to go on a retreat, for example. Or you have the energy to do spiritual practice that is active. For example, Kundalini yoga, right? Classes with me, or any practice that is spiritual and at the same time it is physically active. Tai Chi, Qigong, or even martial arts are also spiritual and physical at the same time. So the lunar eclipse in Capricorn is fallen in your falling in your ninth house. So this is the completion and the letting go of old beliefs, of belief system, or also cultural ideas, ideologies that you may have held in the past, and through this 2-year period or so, you have transformed, and now you have new ideas. Because Pluto and Saturn is performing a reconstruction in the area in the ninth house, which is culture, ideology, belief systems, and also far distance travel. For example, now with this eclipse, you will let go of long distance travel. Obviously, it is an issue that people are now avoiding long distance travel if they can. So also it is affecting higher education. So something in if you're taking college courses, or you're going to the university or any institution of higher studies, there's something that you may need to let go. Even maybe change your degree, your area of studies, or the way that you attend. You know, many universities are now going online instead of in person. So things may change in that area. And the nodal axis that in Cancer and Capricorn has have you focused on the third house, which is your immediate environment, you know, and that has become more important. Your neighbors, your siblings, and things that happen around you, not in the city, in the neighborhood, but also your communication. You have experienced developments in your communication style, and also your mind, how you think, you know, your practical mind. You may have been learning new skills because the North Node in Cancer was in your third house. So that's it for Taurus, and now Scorpio. So Scorpios, Mars in Aries is transiting your sixth house of health, and and the place of work, your daily schedule, your daily activities to maintain your body and your existence, like fitness and health routines in general. So with Mars there, you will become more energetic health-wise, and maybe you decide to start a new fitness program, you know, go running. Aries likes to exert physically, maybe sports or anything that is physical. But you need to be careful, because Mars can bring fevers and also contagious diseases. So make sure that Mars is a planet that brings plagues, virus, and things that are enemies, right? Because Mars is the fighter, the warrior. So it could bring things that damage our health. Just heads up. But in the same theme, maybe you get a pet. Sixth house is also pets, and you may get a pet that is aggressive, or if you have already a pet, it may become aggressive. So be careful. The lunar eclipse in Capricorn falls in your third house of your mind, your thinking. So there's something that has been evolving and changing in your mind and also your skills, your immediate environment, your neighborhood. Maybe you are changing your relationship with neighbors. See if there is a rowdy neighbor that you don't like. Okay, I'm done. I'm not going to relate to. Or a sibling. Maybe you decide to distance yourself from a sibling because something is not going very well there. So be aware that third house is something that you leave behind relating to your immediate environment. Maybe in the city, you stop buying in the corner store in your neighborhood. So things could be simple and they could be big as well, like changing your mindset, for example, the way you think, or maybe you have been learning a skill and now you find out, well, it's not good for me anymore. I discard it. So the Pluto and Saturn in the third house have been really an overhaul of your mind, the way you think, and the way you apply your thinking to your daily life, you know, and also how you conceptualize things, how you relate your mind to the immediate environment, how you relate to it. Pluto has been decomposing your mind, and Saturn has been bringing new structures, you know. So that was the work of the nodal axis in Cancer Capricorn since end of 2017 up until now. But it's over for 18 more years now. So good luck, Scorpios. Now let's go to Gemini and Sagittarius. So for Gemini, Mars falls in your 11th house of friends, your activity in your groups, you know, like-minded groups, and your activity with friends will be receiving a boost of energy. Also, if you participate in some humanitarian causes, something that you defend, like freedom or independence, you know. So you will become an advocate, very physically active advocate for those humanitarian causes. The lunar eclipse falls in your 8th house, and this is an energy of healing, of transformation, transmutation, and Pluto has been really demolishing your psyche, and Saturn comes back now to put new structures in place for healing. The 8th house is very psychological house, so you may have been facing psychological transformations of some kind. Also, it's the house of sexuality and shared sex with someone else. So something may have been transforming in that area of your life, either with your partner, or the way you approach your sexuality, right, with another, and also is about shared resources. So the security and the safety that we find by joining resources with another. For example, your bank account, the loans that you receive, mortgages, taxes, right? You're sharing resources with either an institution or another person. It could be your business partner. And all that had been in the process of transmutation and restructuring. So now with this eclipse, you could see the last things that you were letting go. Maybe you closed a mortgage, you paid off, or maybe you finished paying your loans, your student loans, or something like that. Something that you accomplish, that you complete, and it's done. And now you're ready for a new cycle there. So the nodes, the node in Cancer had been making you focus on your own resources. Maybe you have been becoming more independent, right? By paying your mortgage or by paying your student loans, you are now financially independent, right? It's been a process of a couple of years, but this Cancer second house calls for emotional security and also self-esteem, self-worth. Now you're probably charging for your services or your work more according to the value that you think you have, right? So this is the process that you have been doing. Now Sagittarius, and for Sagittarius is the opposite. Mars is in Aries in your 5th house, and which is the house of your children, your creativity, your creative projects, creative expressions, and also romance and true love, right? So now Mars is energizing your creativity, and you're ready maybe to conceive a baby, right? Or to start a romantic relationship. You meet a person who really fulfills all your senses, and and you're very active in that area. So maybe you start a new creative project, writing a book with pictures, right? You paint, and you with paintings you make a book or something creative, right? And it's usually something physically creative, like sculpture, or something that you make physically with your hands. So sexuality will receive a boost there also as well. So if you meet someone and you have a romantic relationship, it will be very sexual. So the lunar eclipse happens in your 2nd house in Capricorn, and it's all about your finances. So something is changing, or is ending in your financial area, and maybe you can, for example, close your bank account and open your bank account in another bank, or you can also decrease your income, which is possible these days. Sorry about that, but it could also be a decrease in your income, or trying to restructure the way you earn money. For example, finding new ways. If some source of income ends, then you will be restructuring and finding new ways of earning money. And that was the process of the Pluto and Saturn transforming your finances, but also transforming your self-worth, right? Transforming the way you value yourself, and giving new structures to it. That was the work of the North Node in Cancer in your second house, right? Let's see. Second, no, in the eighth house. Sorry, the Cancer. Sorry, the Cancer. Cancer. North Node in your eighth house, right? Okay, so what you have been focusing on has been in your shared resources. For example, I need some water. For example, finding safety and security in the shared resources, because, for example, if your own income has decreased, then you had to find shared resources either with a business partner or with your personal partner, or with, for example, asking for a loan to the bank in order to provide for your needs, right? Second house is your need. But the North Node was in Cancer, was asking you to find this comfort and this safety in sharing your resources with another. So that is for Sagittarius. I will take a pause here. I needed some water, so I got water. Okay. So now I will talk about Cancer and Capricorn. The nodes were in Cancer and Capricorn. So for Cancer, Mars falls in Aries in your 10th house. So you are energizing your professional life, your public status. So you may become aggressive in public as well, so be careful. So Mars could be the warrior, you know, and work, for example, you may either you may become more aggressive, or sorry, I don't know if you could hear exactly what I said because I didn't have my earpieces, but let me start again. So Cancer and Capricorn. So Cancer, Mars falls in Aries in the 10th house, and you may become aggressive at work, I was saying, and in your career, and or you may suffer, on the contrary, you may suffer aggression from a boss, or in your professional life, you can become more competitive, or other people may be competitive with you. So, but at the same time, there could be a lot of work, you know, in your company, and you have to work more hours and more, and spend more energy, put more energy in your career, in your professional life. So that, since Cancer was the North Node, then all the focus was on your own safety and your own comfort, you know. So the nodes during this period, 2017 up until now, you have been finding your strengths in yourself, and how you needed to provide safety for yourself and not rely so much on your partner, because Pluto was actively transmuting your partner if you have one. And Saturn has come back to give new structures to your partnership. So now your relationships with other people have been completely transformed in some way since 2008 with Pluto, and since 2018 with Saturn restructuring, you know. But the lunar eclipse in Capricorn has is falling in your 7th house of your partner. It could be your clients, your business partners, your personal partner, but it could also be how you relate with other people, you know. And there's something that is changing on other people because you have changed yourself. Right now, you're more self-reliant. You just fall on yourself for to provide comfort, to provide your own safety, security. So then other people or your partners or your friends or whoever you relate one-on-one, they change their attitude and they leave behind certain behaviors because you have changed. So that's the effect of this lunar eclipse for Cancer. And now for Capricorn. Dear Capricorns, the lunar eclipse falls in your sign. It may be on your ascendant. It may be on any planet. I will talk later about the planets. But Mars in Aries is activating your 4th house. So there is work at your house. There is work with your family members. You are more active at home. Maybe you're building a home, right? Mars is the builder as well. Maybe the worker, you know, who builds the home. So maybe, what else? You can be more aggressive. So you better find chores to do at home instead of becoming aggressive and having fights at home. But those are possible as well, you know. But in order to avoid the remedy for Mars in transiting the 4th house is to become active, you know. I don't know, dancing with your family or cooking meals and together, you know, or doing some family togetherness activities that can channel that energy. You may, what else? You may move homes also. That's another possibility, but mainly chores, repairs, you know, work at home. You may be working at home. And also remodeling, right? Those are good options instead of fights and aggression at home. But unfortunately, Mars can bring enmity in with family members as well. So the lunar eclipse is on your 1st house. And your 1st house is about yourself. So there is something that you need to let go about your behavior and maybe about your health, something about your physical fitness that needs to change because you are transforming your relationship with your partner. So it is in relationship with any partner that you, or clients, for example. So there's something, behavior that you need to change, you need to leave behind in order to improve your relationships. And that's been the work of the nodal axis in Cancer and Capricorn, where you're finding comfort and support and safety in your relationship with someone else. And in order to receive that comfort and that emotional support, there's something that you need to give up or give in. So in Pluto, since 2008 and up until 2024, will be completely transforming you. So Saturn is coming back to give you new structures of yourself, new organization, how you organize your life, your own life, your own physical fitness and health, and that will affect also your professional life and your home life. So, and that's it for Capricorn. Let's move to Leo and Aquarius. So for Leos, Mars in Aries falls in the 9th house, transits the 9th house. And remember, that's going to be for 6 months, 6 months. And Mars is giving you a boost of energy to engage in higher studies. Maybe going to college or changing your ideologies, and also it may make you more aggressive with your religious ideas. Maybe you become more preachy and trying to impose your beliefs of any kind, not only religious, but it could be imposing your cultural views on other people, but in a physical way, like becoming more physically aggressive. So be careful, because this could also attract aggressiveness to you. So Mars transiting the 9th house may attract aggression to your beliefs, even verbal, but also physical. So be careful. Don't be too extreme in your beliefs that you can trigger other people. Okay, the lunar eclipse in Capricorn falls in your 6th house of daily routines, of health, your pets, and also the place of work. And also, it could mean that some imbalance or some problem that you used to have is now gone and finished. You finished solving that problem. It could be a problem with your health, or it could be a work problem, a place of work problem. For example, if you had issues with employees or people who work for you, or service people, now it's complete. Now you finished, you're done with that. Remember, it's a process that started in 2017, 18. Now is the completion of that process. And it could be that you're making room for a healthier ways of living, a better fitness program for you, adapted to your needs. And also, unfortunately, it may mean that you say goodbye to a pet, one way or another. You may leave your pet with someone else, or you may, or it may go, Unfortunately, there are things that may leave us as well, that could be of benefit, and it could be of detriment and sadness. So in the nodal axis, North Node in Cancer in your 12th house has has made you focus on more on your spiritual life and your unconscious life. Maybe you have gone through therapy, and that's what the eclipses in Cancer have encouraged you to do: more rest, retreat, maybe meditation practice, and maybe more spiritual development for you. Maybe you went on a retreat in a faraway country or place, and you found that fulfilling and very helpful to help you in your health, your physical health, sixth house, you know. So your spiritual life having changed that way had at the same time help you restructure your health, your daily routines. With the sixth house in Capricorn, Pluto was completely transforming your health conditions, and Saturn is coming now with new structures, and is the last 5 months in Capricorn is giving you a new organization in the sixth house. It could be reorganizing your daily schedule according to, for example, a new work environment, or according to new health conditions. So that's all for you, Leo. Good luck with the lunar eclipse. And for Aquarius now, for Aquarius, the Mars transiting Aries is transiting your third house, which is the third house is the house of communication and your relationships with siblings, and we're in general with your immediate environment. So Mars in the third house is encouraging to engage physically with, for example, biking, instead of driving your car in your neighborhood. For example, instead of buying your things in the grocery store, you buy them online, for example. So it could also boost your energy in order to become more active in your relationships with your neighbors, your siblings, and in general, for example, working in your neighborhood, working to strengthen relationships in your neighborhood or your city. It could also improve your communications, you know. Mars transiting Aries gives you the physical stamina to put your words out, right? And let people know what you think. It also activates your mind very much. And it may make you aggressive, so you may you may be careful about what you say, who you talk to, because you may ruffle some feathers there. So be careful what you say. It could be that you become aggressive as well. Or other people, like your siblings, may become aggressive with you. Or your neighbors may become aggressive with you. So the lunar eclipse in Capricorn is in your 12th house, and it may mean that you're leaving behind some isolation that you have been practicing, either self-imposed or publicly imposed, you know, because everybody has been in lockdown these days. but it may mean that you leave behind your tendency to be isolated. You know, Pluto and Saturn and Jupiter increasing the energy of Pluto and Saturn in your 12th house. I mean, that's, in my opinion, is the strongest influence for Aquarius, because it is in the area of life that you don't see clearly. It is your unconscious, and it is your psychological makeup, you know, the things that you really don't know that you are, that you have brought with you from past lives, inheritance from your parents, you know, your psychological DNA. And sometimes with Aquarius, having to go through Pluto, Saturn, and Jupiter in the 12th house has been really challenging, because there are transformations that you really don't know that they're happening. You may have had dreams, scary dreams, and very active, but very powerful nightmares, and a very powerful transformation, you know, behind something that you cannot pinpoint. It's psychological, but is also unconscious. So this lunar eclipse is letting go of something that you have been working there for more than 2 years. And it could be that you come out of your isolation, and that your need for being isolated, that you come out of the cocoon, you know. And I know for Aquarius, Saturn is the ruler. What happens with Aquarians, especially rising Aquarius, is that they are deconstructing the last 30 years of their lives in order to be reborn. Once Saturn comes to Aquarius for good in December this year, it will be together with Jupiter. And so you will be kind of your personality will be enhanced and renewed, and you will start a new level of maturity, a new stage in adulthood, whatever your age is, 30 years, 14 years, or 60, you know. Saturn is very important in both the 12th house, where it deconstructs your old you, and then when it comes to the first house, it starts giving you a new you. So this lunar eclipse, maybe you're also giving up a self-undoing behavior, an addiction, or an escapist behavior of any kind. It could be an addiction, or it could be any other behavior, like wanting to be under a rock, you know, or in the cave, which has been the tendency for Aquarians in the last 2 years, at least. So good luck, Aquarius. I'm moving on now for Virgo and Pisces. So for Virgo, Mars transits Aries in the 8th house. So it's giving a boost of energy in your sexual life. Maybe if you have a partner, then your sexual life will be more energetic, and you will have more activity. If you don't have a partner, then you will find certainly one. And also it activates your shared resources. So it may happen that you start a new joint business, or you join forces for some cause. And it also activates your healing. The eighth house is a psychological healing. So it may trigger some assertiveness or aggression psychologically, but it's all internal, you know, and it could be healing for you, giving you this boost of energy psychologically in order to heal yourself. So the lunar eclipse in Capricorn falls in your fifth house. And your fifth house is the house of romance and your children, and also the creative projects. So it may mean that you are leaving behind some way of being with your children, or you have been transforming the way you do romance, you know. Now you may be more mature about it. You may have healed the eighth house, you know, you may have healed some sexual issues that you had, and now you're ready for a new kind of romantic relationships. And for the creativity, it may mean that you are now changing something that didn't work. You're leaving behind and you're adopting a new way of creating. So the work for the nodes of the moon in Cancer, Capricorn, the North Node have been working on your friendships and the groups you belong to, and the causes that you fight for, the freedoms that you would like to have, hopes and your dreams. So you have been focusing on finding comfort in the groups of friends and some like-minded groups that you belong to. That's where you find comfort now. So the transformation, as I said, by Pluto and restructuring by Saturn has been in the fifth house of your children. You might have been separated from your children, and you might have been experiencing a dry season romantically since 2018 or so, or 2017 maybe, because of this overhaul of your fifth house of romance. And so it's really challenging. It's been really challenging for Virgos, but now the cycle and the process has been complete, or almost, because Pluto will be there until 2024 anyways. But it's almost complete. And you will find new structures and a new level of maturity in your romantic relationships, especially in December or starting in December when Saturn moves out of the fifth house for you. Okay. And last but not least, for Pisces, Mars in Aries transits your second house, and that is your own resources, your finances, your self-worth and self-value. So now you feel more energy to protect yourself, to say, well, this is my value and this is what I think I am worth. And so now Mars gives you the energy to defend your finances and to fight for them, you know. But be careful, no, don't become aggressive, because you may be involved in problems. But a certain level of assertiveness will be good to protect your finances, you know. I know Pisces is very compassionate with other people, always, you know, being charitable. And so now it's the time to defend your finances and defend your self-worth and your values, whatever you value, your possessions also. So the lunar eclipse falls in Capricorn for you in the 11th house. So there's something that you're letting go of the groups of people where you belong. So you, if there are friends who are not good for you, then you're leaving them behind. And that's mainly if you had hopes and dreams that really don't work for you, then this is something that you need to leave behind and renew, find new hopes and dreams. And the work of the nodal axis in Cancer Capricorn has been in Cancer in your 5th house. So you have been finding comfort and emotional safety with your children, right? So you have been having a tighter relationship with your children in order to have find a comfort and safety and protection, because Pluto has been dismantling your friendships, and there's a reconstruction going on there. So you probably will look for new friends, different friends that are more suitable for you. And that's all about the signs. I will make another pause here. And really quick, I will, this has been longer than I thought. I will really quickly share my screen again and show you how the South Node lunar eclipse in Capricorn in aspect to the natal planets. So for example, if it is aspecting your sun, a significant contact or association with a father figure is changing or leaving. So there is I just drank some water, sorry. So there is a realization of or an accomplishment of a creative project, an identity challenge also. For example, if you become a father, then there is an identity change, and that will be challenging for you. The loss or completion of a relationship with a boss or authority figure that might be going away, you know. Separation from a father figure or husband, or a heart and back may need attention. You know, the sun rules the heart and the back, the upper back, so may need attention. Leo house is affected with changes depending where the Leo house is for you. If the moon is conjuncted, square, opposed, you know, hard aspects, a new domestic condition or family changes, changes or losses in relationships with women or mother figures, separation or difficulty from a mother figure or wife, problems of safety or home-related, moving houses. The stomach may need attention, and also fluids in the body. You know, there may be fluid retention or some kind of fluid water issue in the body. So the Cancer house is affected with changes. If Mercury is aspected with hard aspects, square, opposition, as I said, conjunction, new communication issues, mental changes, changes, losses related to neighbors, your skills, separation or difficulty from a sibling, neighbor, problems with short trips, vehicles, or siblings, changes related to paperwork, administrative tasks, contracts, the lungs, intestine, or extremities, arms and legs may need attention. And the houses of Gemini and Virgo are affected with changes. The Venus aspects, new financial conditions, completion, realization of money issues, changes, value, loss of a love relationship, separation or difficulty from a lover, problems related to or loss of possessions, and also changes in social relationships as well, or social life. The senses, taste, smell, hearing, etc., the touch. Pancreas, throat may need attention. The houses occupied by Taurus and Libra are affected with changes. The Mars aspects, new aggressive situations, energy changes, conflicts, issues with men, machines, possible violence, change, loss of strength or of ability to act, reduced initiative, sexual, physical, or willpower, problems of independence or self-image. The head and body or the blood may need attention. Mars rules the blood. And the houses of Aries and Scorpio are affected with changes. If Jupiter is aspected by the eclipse, new conditions related to higher education, culture, beliefs, travel, ideologies, change or loss of luck, legal dispute, losses, or loss of prosperity. Separation, difficulty with a close association, problems with publishing or religious practice. The liver, the upper legs or hips may need attention. Sagittarius houses and Pisces, Sagittarius and Pisces houses are affected with changes. Saturn aspects, hard aspects with the eclipse. New conditions related to time, public status, career, change or loss in matters of responsibility, civil status, ambition, separation or difficulty with a senior or an elderly family member, public authority, problems with discipline, organization, and the health of an older adult may need attention. The houses of Capricorn and Aquarius, which are ruled by Saturn, are affected with changes. And then for the outer planets, if they are prominent in your chart, right? Because if the outer planets are in an angular house, or they have a lot of aspects, especially hard aspects in your natal chart, then the outer planets are prominent. And if that's the case, then Uranus can bring unexpected changes, innovation that feels uncomfortable, like Aquarius, Neptune may bring changes in creativity, spirituality, confusion also, and Pisces. Pluto brings generally profound transformation, and it rules Scorpio. So this is my overview of the lunar eclipse of July 4th and 5th, 2020. for you. I hope it's useful information. So if it is, then please support me. Order your personal reading with me. You know, general forecast like this one is general. It doesn't really pinpoint your own natal chart. So, or make a donation, please make a donation. Subscribe to my channel so you can be noticed when a new video comes up. Like, comment, and share my videos. And thank you for watching. And this is the bibliography that I used for this presentation. I hope that is useful information for you. And if so, please contact me for a reading. Thank you so much for watching. And I will say goodbye up until next video. Bye-bye.